Good day. In this video, we're going to show you how common fractions, plus and minus, could be done. We're going to show you one of the possible methods. Here is our first calculation we're going to do, and what is important in fractions is not to be stuck in the rules. Make them talk to you and understand what you are doing. Right, so what we have here is 3½ slices of bread plus 1 2/3 slices of bread. Please go on this channel and look for the video that says explain what is a half, explain what is 2/3, explain what is 3/4. Then this might be a little bit easier. So if I add 3½ plus 1 2/3, my answer will be 4 and something. So let's see how we go about solving this problem. The first thing we do is we change all of this into halves and all of this into thirds. So this 3 wholes makes 6 halves plus the 1/2 that we already had. This 1 whole over here becomes 3/3 plus the 2/3 that we already had. And this together is going to give me 7 halves, and that together is going to give me 5/3. Please stop the video and understand how 3½ changed to 7 halves, and how 1 2/3 changed to 5/3. But now what we're going to do to save time and not write so much is we're going to take that 3, times it by that 2, that gives me a 6, plus 1 is 7, and I write 7 over 2. I put my plus down, and I go 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5, and I write 5 over 3. Then we're not going to write this step underneath the blue part here. But understand why that rule is used in maths. Next, we want to change this halves and these thirds to the same size fraction. But now mathematically, we're going to look for the multiples of 2 and the multiples of 3 to find a size that will suit halves and thirds. Now the multiples of 2 of halves will be 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on, and the multiples of 3 will be 3, 6, 9. So the common multiple that we're going to use is 6, because both of them are happy with the number 6. So what you do is you put a long line and you put a 6 underneath, the lowest common multiple of these two numbers. Then you ask, with what do I times this 2 to get to this 6? Then your answer is, I times it by 3 to get to 6. Then what I do at the bottom, I must also do at the top. So I times the 7 by the same number, which is 3. And that gives me a 21. Then I put my plus down. Then I ask, with what do I times 3 here at the bottom to get this 6 at the bottom? Yes, you times it by 2. And what you times at the bottom, you times the same number at the top. So you take 5 times 2, and you get 10. So 7 halves is 21 sixths, plus 5/3 is 10 sixths. Then we add to see how many sixths we've got. That gives me 31 over 6, or 31 sixths. Then they always want us to simplify this again. Now we know that 31 sixths is a lot of sixths. So 6 sixths makes a whole. I must find out how many 6 sixths I can pull out of 31 sixths. And then we write 5 and 1/6, because in here is 30 sixths, which will make 5 wholes, and there's 1/6 left. Mathematically, you can divide the 6 into 31 and get 5, and there'll be 1/6 left. Please stop the video and try and understand how we got through these steps to this answer. Right, now we're quickly going to do a few more, but just sticking to the maths. So we got 3½ minus 1 2/3. First you change both of these to fractions only. We call it improper fractions. So you go 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7 over 2, minus 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5 over 3. Then you make the bottoms the same. You look for the LCD of 2 and 3, which is 6. You put a long line. You ask, what do I times 2 to get to 6? It'll be times 3. Then you also times by 3 at the top. Then 7 times 3 gives you 21. Put your minus down. Then you say 3 times what will give me 6. That'll be times 2. So you also times by 2 at the top. And 5 times 2 will give you 10. Then I've got to go, and 21 minus 10 will give me 11 over 6. And then I simplify that. And that'll give me 1 whole and 5/6 as my final answer. Please stop the video and make sure you understand what happened here. Now, stop the video and look at these two situations. There is no difference between plussing or minusing a fraction problem. We first make them both fractions, then we find the LCD, make their bottoms the same, then we just plus and minus, that's all it differs, and then we just simplify our answers. I'm quickly going to talk you through two more. Here we have 2 3/4 plus 1 1/5. First we make both of them full fractions, improper fractions. Then we make the bottoms the same, which will be 20. Then you ask it, what do you times 4 to get to 20? And that'll be 5. You also times the top by 5. What do you times 5 to get to 20? That's 4. You also times the top by 4. Although the numbers are big, the technique is easy. Then we simplify this by adding the top and keeping the 20. Then we get 79 over 20. Then we simplify this. And we get 3 and 19 over 20 is my final answer after I added these two fractions. Let's look at this minus one. First we change them both into improper fractions. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7 over 2. Keep the minus. 2 times 9 is 18. Plus 5 is 23 over 9. Now I make the bottoms the same, which in this case will be 18 with a long line. Then I ask it, what do I times 2 to get to 18? And that'll be 9. So I also times the 7 by 9, which will give me 63 with a minus. Then I ask, what do I times the 9 to get to the 18? That'll be I times by 2. I times by 2 at the top and I get 46. Then I minus these two from each other. And I get 17 over 18, and that can't simplify any further. Please stop the video and get your brain around these two sums. Now we're going to do 3 nice ones just to show you that we don't always have to stick to rules. Now here are 3 examples where I told you don't stick to rules like a slave. Here they said 3.5 minus 3.5. So it's the same amount. What do you think the answer is? I'm going to give you 2 seconds. Yes, the answer is 0. We had 3.5 and we took away, minus, take away 3.5. So there's nothing left. No calculations, nothing. Let's look at the second one. I've got 2 1/3 plus 1 1/3. Without doing too much calculations, what do you think the answer is? Yes, the 2 and the 1 together gives me 3, and 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3. So if you understand this, you can use it with your mind. If you don't, you just stick to the technique of the beginning of the video. Now the last one of this video, you got 5 3/4 minus 5 1/4. Give you 2 seconds. What do you think the answer is? Yes, the answer is 2/4. 5 minus from the 5 is nothing, and the 1/4 taken away from the 3/4 is 2/4. We just have to simplify this now. My final answer will be a half. Please stop the video and see if you can get your brain around these 3 without any big calculations. Please indicate whether you liked or disliked this video and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy fractions.